Hi, everyone, and once again, welcome back to Truth Is with Chantel Sheree. In this segment, we are moving on in our Real Healing series. Today, we are discussing point number 3, acknowledging with gratitude all of life's lessons. So let's get started. Now, you probably gonna hear some background noise, y'all. I'm out of the country and they're doing construction and stuff in this building. And so you'll hear talking, you'll probably hear some noise, but just kind of excuse that as we move through this, okay? So the 4 steps that we discussed previously in our real healing video were number 1, recognizing my faults and weaknesses. Number 2, embracing my emotions. Number 3, acknowledging with gratitude all of life's lessons. And number 4, letting go of what no longer serves my highest good. Today, we will only be discussing point number 3, acknowledging with gratitude all of life's lessons. So check out thumbnails at the end for videos covering those other 3 points. Now, steps 3 and 4 of the healing process are by far the toughest. So let me go ahead and let y'all know that up front. Specifically, when we speak to acknowledging with gratitude now, some of our toughest and most traumatic experiences. Because what that means is that I am saying thank you for the worst things that have happened to me. Now, take a moment and let that sink in because this has to happen before we even get to point number 4, the letting go phase of this journey. That is why I say to y'all, take your time going from phase to phase of your healing journey. Remember, it's a journey, not a race. Take your time, pace yourself, move on when you are ready. And then go back to whichever phase you need to as often as you need to. Acknowledging our worst experiences is saying this, and this is going to be hard as hell for some people to hear it, because it was hard as hell for me to hear, and it was even harder for me to finally do. And I still have to remind myself of this from time to time. But for me, when I'm acknowledging with gratitude some of the toughest shit, I'm saying, thank you, Divine Creative All, for helping me truly see and accept why the sexual abuse, the child molestation had to happen, why the bad relationships had to happen, why the poverty happened, why the loss of my sisters, my mom, and other loved ones happened. But even more importantly than how, why it's necessary. Not just for my healing, but for the healing of others too. Not just so that I can recognize how strong and capable I truly am, but how I can teach other women that they are too, regardless of who they are or what has happened to them. Now, hear me out when I say this. This does not excuse or justify the wrong that is done to us by others. I don't give a damn what it is. When I say I'm acknowledging with gratitude the lessons that I've learned, I'm not saying that I excuse what they did. But in order for us to be free, in order for you to be free, in order for me to be free, in order for us to truly be free, to heal, to grow, and to go towards the best experiences, those experiences that we deserve, and those experiences that await us, we have to take it all in. We have to let it all come up and let it all come out so that we can truly release it in healthy ways for ourselves and for those who need to hear our story so that they can do the same. I'm telling you, you are more necessary than you will ever know. Your story is necessary, but you cannot tell that story from a broken place. You have to go through the healing process. You have to, because the only thing you're giving is more strife, and we don't need that. Okay, so before we get too deep into this, let's keep it simple like we did in the last few videos. We're going to start by defining the term gratitude. Gratitude is defined as the quality of being thankful. Being thankful. They didn't say saying thank you. Gratitude is defined as the quality of being thankful, the readiness to show appreciation and to return kindness. So, simply stated, gratitude is thank you in action. Gratitude is doing, it is the act of thankfulness, the return of kindness by what we do, coupled with what we say. So for me, and I've always said this to people, when it comes to expressions like thank you or I love you, rest assured, I'm not watching your mouth. I'm watching your hands and your feet in the way that you are being, doing, carrying those acts out. Gratitude is not just about words, it is about the energy and the action following those words. Now, think about that in terms of where we want to ultimately land with this. Take all this in when you think about coming to a place where you not only say thank you for the best, but for the worst too, because it all has its place. So, how do we show appreciation for what we've experienced? How do we counteract the pain and the negativity by returning kindness instead? How do we say thank you for it all? And sometimes, yes, in it all, by what we do and what we say. Now, let's discuss some ways that we can show gratitude for what we've experienced. Now, these are some ways that I've used to express my gratitude to God, to the divine, for what I've gone through, and to help other people who are on this journey too, who need that guidance, who need that reassurance that they ain't losing their damn mind, and that it's okay to feel the way that they do, but it ain't okay to stay there. Okay. So one way we can do is helping others on their healing journey. And this can be people we know personally, or we can volunteer with groups that allow us to share our story or mentor others in some capacity. It can be starting an online platform like this, telling your story on YouTube, telling your story on TikTok, telling your story on Facebook. We use those platforms for all kinds of stuff. Use it for something positive. Use it for something that is going to actually impact somebody in a positive way. And remember, you are in charge. You are in complete control of how and when you choose to share your story and the lessons you're learning along the way. Another way we can do that is by expressing forgiveness to ourselves and to others. And forgiveness don't mean you got to call the person up and tell them you forgive them or write letters and all that stuff. No. Forgiveness is for you. It's for you. Sometimes you may be able to convey that verbally to somebody or some kind of way. But in most cases, most of us are not able to express that. Sometimes we need to forgive people so that we can be free. So we can free our own heart and our own mind up and stop being bogged down and putting ourselves in bondage for all the negativity we're drawing to us by how we feel about them. So forgiveness of ourselves and others. And this takes time, depending on what the person did to you, how heinous it was, how detrimental it was to who you are. It is going to take time. Give yourself the time you need to get to this point. I'm telling y'all, it took me years to get here. I'm talking like 5, 10 years, more than that. And I'm still, like I said, the healing journey is a lifelong journey. It took me years. And there are certain situations where I am still working my way into being more stable in this area. Now, when it comes to extended forgiveness and compassion, you will not be able to accomplish this until you fully realize your own faults. Acknowledge the areas where you haven't been the best person either. Now, yeah, I know some people are much worse than others, and what they do or have done may be much worse. And although that's justifiable, your greatest test in this life is how much you are willing to forgive. And forgiving does not mean forgetting. Neither does it mean that we are in agreement with what others have done. It simply means that we know that we no longer hold ourselves captive by investing negative emotions, time, or energy into people or things, including what they've done, that don't move us forward, that take more life from us, take more joy from us. When you give that energy to anything or anyone, you lose. They win. Simple as that. Your power is not in harboring that hatred or allowing it to deeply root itself into your heart, your mind, your life. Your power is in forgiving and relinquishing the consequences of the situation and the people involved to a source that is greater than you and can handle the situation much better than you. It is hard as hell, but I'm telling y'all, it is possible. It will take time. It took me years. And I'm telling you, if it were not true, I would not have my ass on here talking to you about it. I just wouldn't. I couldn't be on here talking to you about it. But there's so many of us that are still broken in this way, that are still feeling our way around in the dark for answers that nobody seems to be giving us. And sometimes that's because we're not ready to receive the truth, or we're not ready to do the work involved with getting to a better place. And I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing over here. This is hard work, and it's lifelong work. You're going to have to forgive, and you'll find yourself bouncing back and forth. I'm going to forgive them today, can't stand them tomorrow. That shit was wrong. And you're going to be in that space, and that's normal. It's normal, y'all. Let it happen, but keep getting through it, because you have to understand the importance of getting to the other side of this, getting yourself in a positive, healthy, balanced mindset and space in general. Another way we can do is return negativity with kindness and compassion towards those who have hurt us. And like I said, it takes time. It will take you several years to do this. It is not going to happen overnight. Give yourself the time you need. You don't owe nobody no explanations. You don't need nobody rushing you through the process. Take your time. Another way we can do this is by grasping the best way we can do this is by grasping as many lessons as possible from the situation and applying them to our lives every day. You don't show gratitude no other way, no better way than that. It's by not just acknowledging and saying, oh, thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Thank you, divine source, for helping me get through that and helping. And it's all of this. And we know it's trending and stuff right now, y'all. All this yin yang and wusa and all that stuff. That stuff is okay, but it does not negate reality. You got to be able to deal with your shit, the reality of your shit. And a lot of us think that we're going to do these quick fix routines, spiritual or otherwise, and we wonder why we wake up still broken. We wake up still hurt. We wake up still looking for answers. You got to do the work. Point blank, period. You have to do the work. It is hard work. It is lifelong work, but it is so worth it. It is so worth it. So we're going to talk about what gratitude don't mean. And like I said, this goes back to what I just said. And that is, we get ourselves in this space where we try all this stuff. Oh, I'm going to say my affirmations every day. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do my yoga. I'm going to pray. I'm going to go spend time in nature. I'm going to be in church 12 days a week. But we're not doing the inner work. And we're not being realistic about the work that is needed. And we're not being real with ourselves about our part, the role we play in the things that happen to us. So we're going to talk about, like I said, with gratitude, what this part of the process doesn't mean, because I don't want anybody thinking this means that I'm going to go in peaceful, I'm going to come out peaceful, I'm going to go. No, you're going to have to learn how to find that peace, honey. You have to learn how to hold on to it sometimes, even after you do find it. So gratitude does not mean that we are okay with what has happened to us. It does not justify the wrong done to us by others. That is not what this means. It is not forgetting what happened to us. Instead, we acknowledge it, and the fact that it was wrong, it was painful, it was unacceptable, and that it has forever transformed us. Now, what we allow it to transform us into is completely up to us. You can let that thing transform you into something completely negative, or somebody completely negative, or someone who, learned from it, healed from it, and took it and turned it into something positive. Okay? So it doesn't give us permission to forget what's happened to us either. So after we acknowledge it, we search it, remember? Remember going through step 2 of this process. We search it. We acknowledge it and we search it. We search it for the lessons we are meant to get from it. Because you have to, in order to heal, you have to take time to analyze what you are feeling, why you are feeling, how you are feeling. You have to. You cannot skip that part of the healing process. You can't. Then we transform all of the pain and negativity that we allowed it to hold us to for so long. We transform all that into power, to strength, to vocalizing with confidence that we are captive no more, but rather we are truly, truly free, and not by what we say, but by how we live. We are free in our hearts. We are free in our minds. We are free in our newer, healthier relationships. We are free to truly breathe for the first time. You will never be more free than by sharing your story, but you can't do that until you free yourself first. You cannot. Like I said, y'all gonna hear me say this a lot too. That faking the funk, that stuff don't work. The real you gonna show up every time. Might take longer, some might take longer than others, but that real you, he, she, is gonna show up. So do the work. Get yourself in a healing place, in a whole place, in a balanced place, in a healthy place. You ain't got to be perfect, but you need to be better off than bitter. You need to be better off than still holding all these emotions of anger and vengeance and all this stuff and walking around like it's okay and then trying to tell other people how to be better. You ain't helping nobody with that. You're just not. Gratitude does not mean that it's okay to ignore what we feel, how we feel, and why we feel the way we do because of what we've experienced. Ignoring what we feel is only creating a very limited, superficial, and false sense of security that will send us sinking deeper into the painful emotions that the situation has caused in the first place. Acknowledging the situation with gratitude means that I have given myself as much time as I need to look and continue to look intently into the situation, glean all the lessons I possibly can from it, understand fully how those experiences shaped who we are, who we were in the past, and who we are becoming as we move forward. Like I said, remember step number 2 of the healing process. And if you haven't watched that video, go back and watch it. Embracing my emotions. You embrace what emotions you feel along the way. Do not ignore them, explore them. Okay? Forgiveness and gratitude does not lessen the severity of more heinous experiences. Now, y'all will hear me talk about in the future more about going through sexual abuse as a child. My entire childhood, up until I was about 16, 17. And this is for everybody who's experiencing what they're experiencing. I don't know what your trauma is or was, but when I say we go through this process and we acknowledge and we give gratitude and we forgive, because you have to forgive too. That's a part of the release. That's a part of the acknowledgement. That's a part of giving the gratitude in the first place, expressing it. Forgiveness and gratitude doesn't mean that rape is okay. Doesn't mean that murder is okay. It doesn't mean that physical, sexual, spiritual, financial, emotional, or abuse of any kind is okay. That is not what I'm saying. So please don't walk off of this platform saying that I said that. That is not what the hell I'm saying. I ain't saying none of that shit okay, because it's not. It'll never be okay to me. So you have to come to a place to understand we are healing us. So that means that when we experience more heinous occurrences, yes, we're going to be angry. We're going to want vengeance. Y'all ain't going to want to do none of the shit I'm talking about. You ain't going to want to do none of the shit I'm talking about because you're going to be in your feelings in that moment. But at some point, you will have to admit that harboring those emotions serves you no good and it doesn't undo anything. Just because you're mad, it don't make it better. What I don't want is people thinking that I am lulling them into some toxic positivity bullshit or some kumbaya mission. I ain't here for that. We are fully aware that those types of things are not okay for any reason. But there is a but. The truth is we cannot let it kill us more. We can't. We can't let it hurt us more. We can't let it paralyze us more. Trust me, you do not want to live like that. And you sure as hell don't want to die like that. You don't want to die in that energy. You don't want to exist in that energy. You don't have to keep existing in that energy. Getting to and through this phase of the journey is not instant. It's not. It doesn't happen instantaneously. It does not. It takes time. And I mean potentially years. That's just as real as it gets. It took me years and I'm still working on stuff. There's some stuff that's going to take longer than others to understand and to accept and to release. It just does. And that's okay. Take your fucking time. Take your time. Process your emotions in your timing. Sift through those emotions and then sift them again for understanding, for lessons, because believe me, you will need to do that. This does not happen overnight, like I said. The healing journey is a lifelong process. Take your time. Take your time. Be patient with yourself. And I've said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it. Stop comparing where you at on your journey with where somebody is on theirs. That ain't got nothing to do with you. Be okay with where you are. And understand where you are going, where you want to go, where you want to land in the end. What is your long game? Is your long game to be in a mentally healthy, healed space? Is it to be balanced? Is it to be able to let this stuff go and not let it keep holding you back? You holding it in and it's holding you back. Why? What you gonna keep holding on to it for? Express how you feel about it. As however many times you got to and however you have to, as long as you ain't causing harm to yourself and nobody else. Find a healthy way to release that. And like I said before, if you have to confide in a friend, if you have to go get therapy or something, do that. But let whoever you're talking to, or confiding in, let them allow you to lead yourself on this journey. Okay? Gratitude does not exempt us from future challenges. We are not exempt from future challenges because we exercise gratitude for our past, present, or future situations. Challenges are a part of life. You will experience them as long as you are roaming the earth, people. I don't care how much you pray or to whom you pray, what you pray, how much you meditate, how many candles you light, how many rituals you do, how esoteric you are. You will experience challenges. Challenges are how we learn. They are how we grow. They are how we discover where growth is even needed. Gratitude, I think we get this mixed up, but gratitude to me is much like prayer. It's a preventive measure. We don't just pray when stuff goes bad. Most of us do. We don't just seek help when stuff gets to its worst state. It is so easy for us to be thankful, though, when things are going well, right? When we have what we want. But what about when hard times hit? Should we not still be grateful for the days when things were going well? Because we know from past experience that trouble really, our parents or grandparents and stuff back in the day used to say trouble don't last always. That's true. Trouble doesn't last always unless you constantly creating trouble. And that things, we have to understand that trouble, it doesn't last always, and that things will be well again. And as we go and grow on this journey, we find that each new blessing, each new opportunity to be grateful is much better than the last. What we experience or want to experience is based on how we act, how we react, how we think, what we do, what we hold on to, and what we release. So in other words, the quality of your life is up to you. You are in complete control, not just of this journey, but of your life. You are in complete control. Okay? So when we go through this process, we learn a whole lot. We learn a whole lot about ourselves more than anything. We learn that we are stronger than we thought we were. We learn that the story of our lives is the song that we are to sing with pride and joy, regardless of how bad the details of that story are. I don't care how gory the details of your story are, tell your story and tell all of it. Much more than that, we learn that everything has a season and a purpose. Your tears, your pain, your loss is not for nothing. All of it is usable. I remember being in a space in my life years ago. I hadn't taken this journey or anything like that. And I'm sitting, I'm praying, I'm talking to God. And I'm like, you know what, God? And I'm telling y'all, when I have my conversations with God, they be real. It ain't all that cute stuff. My conversation be just as real as this conversation I'm having with y'all. And I said, I just don't get it. I said, God, how? Tell me how. How can you take the tragedy that is my life, the mess that is my life, and turn it into something beautiful, something usable? Because like I said, I hadn't taken this journey. This was maybe about 10, 11 years ago. I hadn't even got to this point. And I didn't see the good. I don't care how much I tried to sit and search for it with all my loving little heart. I couldn't see the good. I didn't see nothing good in my life. I couldn't find it. I was in tears and I was like, God, how the hell can you take this and make it something beautiful, something usable? But sitting here 11 years, 10 years later, I can't tell you I know that it is usable. I know how the pain of my life is usable. I know how the sexual abuse as a child is usable. I know how the bad relationships are usable. I know how all the other bad experiences, self-imposed and not, are usable. There is a much bigger picture and a much greater plan for it all. Some of the lessons I learned from my experiences were exactly what's here, that I am not a tragedy. I am triumphant. You know, I wasn't losing. I was actually winning and I just couldn't see it. I couldn't see it through the tears. I couldn't see past the veil of pain, of fear, of anger, of confusion. I was a winner in all of that shit then, and I am one now. At some point, though, I had to choose to believe it. I had to choose to believe that I was a winner. Now, it's hard when you're going through that stuff to say something good gonna come out of this. It's hard to see that when you're in a bad relationship, when you're in an abusive relationship, when you have substance abuse issues that you're dealing with, when you've been raped, when you've been beat up, when you've been beat down so much. It's hard to see the good in that. It is. That's why I said this shit, it takes time. And you got to be a brave soul to take this walk. But if you want to win in the end, if you want that happiness, that joy, that peace, that contentment, and that shit ain't phony, it ain't just a snapshot on social media, you want to be living that life, you're going to have to do this work. Plain and simple. You have to do the work. You got to do. It's like doing a colon cleanse for your soul, for your energy, for your spirit, for your mind. That's what this is. This is a mind soul colonic. So I had to also learn that I am not a victim. That I am victorious. I am not defeated. I'm defining myself. And I'm telling you, take your time and learn the lesson so that you can continue to tell the world who you are, not the other way around. You dictate your destiny. Some of us let the world tell us who we are. They tell us what beauty is. They tell us what success is, what abundance is, what prosperity is. Stop letting the world tell you who you are. You define that. You dictate your destiny. You dictate your circumstances. Your circumstances don't control you. Okay? I am not a prisoner of my past. My pain has purpose. I am no longer waiting for someone to rescue me. I am writing my own story and it has a beautiful end. And again, y'all, I'm going to tell you this. You are the star of your own show. You control the narrative of your life from this moment forward. What story do you truly want to share with the world? Don't leave the tough shit out, like I said. Don't leave the bad stuff out of your story. Because guess what? All that tough shit, it is your story. It's not the crescendo. It's not the climax. It ain't the highlight, though. Your triumph is that. Your triumph is the highlight. Your healing is the highlight. Your transformation is, your purpose is the highlight of your story. So be real with yourself. Be patient with yourself. Take your time on this journey. It's a lot of work. It's tough work. It's emotional work over and over again. But I'm telling you, it is all so very worth it in the end. Okay? Now I'm going to say this again, just so y'all get the point. And I'm going to say it many more times in other videos. It's okay to mess up. This is not about perfection. It's okay to be messed up. But hear me when I say it is not okay to stay that way. It is not okay to continue to justify your lack of love for yourself. It is not okay to keep blaming other people. In order to get to the other side, you have to acknowledge your contributions, and the contributions of others to your own demise, to your own hindrances, to your own pain. At some point, you will have to admit to yourself that you became a willing participant. And that's just the damn truth. It's the truth I had to own. You will have to embrace and accept it. Forgive yourself and forgive whoever else you got to forgive. Grasp the lessons that have made you better because of it and hold on to those lessons for dear life. And at the end of it all, let that shit go. Not the memory of it, but the negative emotions that bind you to it, that keep you stuck. There is better waiting for you. I'm telling you there is. but you will never experience that while still holding on to bitterness, to anger, jealousy, envy, manipulation. Nothing good or lasting manifests from that energy other than more of the same. Love yourself enough to take this journey, to go through this process. There's a scripture that says, better is the end of a thing than the beginning. And so it is with our journey to discovering our best selves. It starts off rough. It starts off painful, full of tears, and yes, even confusion. Oh, but when we keep going, when we keep learning, when we keep releasing what we no longer need, the end is so much sweeter. The blessings that we receive are so well worth it. The relationships, the new relationships that we establish are proof that we are deserving of much, much more than what we allowed ourselves to settle for in our broken state of being. You are loved. You are loving. You are lovable. You are healing others by healing yourself. You are your most prized possession. You are worth the work. You are worth the tears. You are worth the struggle. You are worthy of the best that this life has to offer you. You are necessary. This is how you have to talk to yourself through this process on this journey. When you hear that song by Mary J, Good Morning Gorgeous, that ain't just a song. That lady went through something to be able to sing that shit. I'm just saying. And a lot of times it's going to be like encouraging yourself, talking to yourself. Get in that mirror and say something to yourself to inspire you that day. I'm necessary. I'm beautiful. I love you. I love me. Whatever you got to say. I don't care if it's one thing. I don't care if it's 10 things, if you're that confident. But encourage yourself. Speak life to yourself before you go out in the world trying to speak to anybody else. Because here's the thing, it's not going to be effective if it ain't effective for you. It's not. So some things you can say, this is like when you're doing your prayer and meditation time. For me, I write out affirmations and stuff. I write them and I say some of the same ones every day. If I don't say the same ones every day, I keep one in my mind every day. So when I need to, I just go back to that. And when I'm in the idle, my mind is in the idle space, I let that affirmation come to mind and I start speaking the affirmation. So you have to start speaking this life into your own life, into your own self. Okay? So I also do prayers and stuff like that, but we'll get into that in a second. So as always, this goes back to the who, what, when, why, and how of the process. We try to keep it simple so we can keep in mind what we're doing and why we're doing it. So the who always is you. Again, this journey is always all about you. What are we focusing on? We are focusing on the acknowledgement of life's lessons through our most traumatic experiences and toughest circumstances. When do we apply this? When do we do this? Every single day of your life, because there's always something to be grateful for. And you're always going to be challenged to learn something. You're always going to experience some challenge that is teaching you a lesson. Okay? Remember, all of your pain has purpose. There's always something to be grateful for. All of your pain has purpose. Okay? How are we doing this? By being active in my expression of gratitude for all that I've experienced and why. Remember, the ultimate goal is always for the purpose of becoming your best self. That should always be your top priority. Becoming your best self for yourself. You shouldn't be doing it because you want to make your husband happy, your boss happy, your kids happy, your family. This ain't for people pleasing. This journey, this process is for you. You are the benefactor. You're not the sole benefactor, but you're the top one. You're the priority here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to end, like I said, with this is a sample of a prayer of gratitude that I would do. Now I've changed some of the words of this just for this purpose, but most of this is stuff that I say in prayer when I'm giving gratitude, and I usually freelance and just say stuff off my head, and because it needs to be coming from the heart anyway. So keep in mind, you can express gratitude in many ways, but this is one way that I express it during my time of quiet reflection and meditation. So I say, thank you, divine creator of the universe and all that is. Thank you, archangels. Thank you, my ancestors, my ascended masters, and spirit guides of divine guidance and protection. Thank you for the reminder that although uncomfortable, the pain I experience is a valuable and necessary part of the healing process. Thank you that even though my past does not define me, it has opened doors of opportunity for me to contribute to helping others succeed on their healing path in the most fruitful and impactful ways. Thank you for my kind and giving heart. Thank you for the scars that it bears because they are reminders of the lessons that I have lived, learned, and I'm called to teach others. Thank you for my divine call to live with purpose. Thank you for using the pain of my past to impact the lives of others in the most positive and purposeful ways. Thank you for the songs of love, strength, and reassurance that you sing over me daily. Their melody has been the key to my healing in every way. Thank you for your comforting presence that sustains me and gives me the strength and motivation that I need to move forward. Most of all, thank you for the reminder that progress is made one step at a time and that healing is experienced one moment at a time. Thank you for your divine love and grace. For that, I am ever grateful, and so it is. Now, when you are in prayer or meditation, or however you connect with divine source or whatever spiritual belief or religious belief you resonate with, one thing my mom taught me when we were kids is she told us to stop begging God, like you begging God to hear you when you pray. And she taught us how to pray in this way, to say thank you. To say thank you like it's already happened, because it has. So when I pray and I give gratitude, I am saying thank you for this because I know that there is something good in it. And I know that that something good is not just for me. It's not just for my benefit. It's for the benefit of others. So I'm telling you, it would behoove you. You would do yourself a huge disservice if you did otherwise, to heal, to learn the lessons, to give gratitude for those lessons. Because on the other side of the gratitude is what? The opposite of what you experienced. So if the opposite was pain, then thank God for the pain, because it's going to bring some type of peace if you learn the lesson, if you learn to let go, if you learn to forgive. But when we hold on to the pain that was caused, that's why I said you don't forget what happened. I'm not saying for you, you definitely don't forget it, because it's always going to be a part of your story. It has to be a part of your story. But you don't hold on in remembering. We don't hold on to the pain. We don't hold on to the anger. We don't hold on to the fear and all those things that come from what we've experienced. We have to find a healthy, balanced way to release that shit so that we are in a space to help others do the same. We don't need no more broken, hurt, broke down people on this planet. There's so many of us, like I said, we all out here feeling our way around in the dark, looking for a solution on Twitter, looking for a solution on YouTube, looking for a solution on, because some cute face telling us to go this way. No, you got to do the work. It ain't going to be no easy work. It ain't. Just saying. It's not going to be easy. The process is not going to be short. It ain't going to be instant. It ain't going to happen overnight. If you really want to heal, you going to have to do the cleansing, the purging. You're going to have to do that work. But when it's all said and done, you're going to come out better in the end. I promise you that. Emotionally, mentally, physically, everything in your life becomes so much better. And you don't have to be a millionaire for it to be better, because you are freeing yourself. You are freeing yourself from years of trauma, of drama, of heartache. Who the hell want to keep going to sleep and waking up to that? Or still harboring the aftermath of it, the remnants of the emotions from it. You don't do yourself any good by doing that. You don't do nobody else any good by continuing to exist in that space either. Okay? So again, thank you, ladies, so much for tuning in. Join me in our next video where we discuss point number 4, which, like I said, the 3 and 4 are the hardest two parts of this process to get through. because they really take time. It's not something that you're gonna do overnight. You ain't gonna read this stuff I'm talking about or listen to what I'm saying and do this and be good overnight. You're not. It's gonna take time. And like I said, it could take years. Be okay with it taking as long as it needs to. As long as you are being intentional about doing the work, about releasing what you need to release, and it's gonna be stuff that come up here, there, and everywhere for the rest of your life. I still got stuff coming from my childhood that I didn't even realize. I'm having epiphanies left and right about stuff that I didn't even realize was still there that needed to be released. But I'm always asking divine source. I'm always asking my creator to show me, where do I need to heal? What in me is still broken that I don't see? Where is work still needed for me to grow, to ascend, to help somebody else? I don't want to be helping nobody if I'm still broken and fucked up. I don't. You shouldn't want that either. I want to be giving my best self to myself all the time, to others all the time. So the next step we'll cover is letting go of what no longer serves my highest good. That will be our next video. So don't forget to share this video with somebody that you know needs this message, that needs encouragement and inspiration, as a reminder that they are not alone, that they are necessary. Okay? Subscribe to show your support, and we will continue to grow together, to heal together, and to walk through this process together. So love and light. I appreciate y'all, and I will see you in the next video.